For the YouTube subscribers. Well, subscribe already. Hit the fucking like button and subscribe before I knock your ass out, man. I ain't fucking with you, man.
UFC Vegas 71, Jan versus Dalishvili back at the Apex for a fight night. This is a sneaky decent card. A few decent fights on this card. Love the main event. Some, I guess you can say, bad blood between the two. I guess more on the Dalishvili side. Seems to hate Jan. Jan just whatever. I know there's some back and forth with these guys, especially this week. I know Dalishvili had an interview. Seemed very upset at Jan. Not too sure if it goes both ways, but excited to see this main event and what happens here. Tough fight, I guess, to call due to the pricing, but we'll talk about that here shortly. I'll be breaking down the main card like usual, guys, providing free picks, leans, and what to avoid. 6 out of 7 profitable cards to start the year, guys. 14-4 for my clients, 78% at 14-4. This is for 2013 for the year, and over 60 units long term. That's what matters, the long term numbers, guys. Quick UFC 285 recap, and the GOAT returns in style. What an impressive win for Jon Jones, cementing his GOAT status now. Can't really say much after that impressive quick win. Just gone at nothing for him on the ground in the grappling and wrestling department, which I did state, and which I did think Jon was going to be a better grappler and wrestler. Did I think it was going to be that quick? No. Did I think a submission was there? Yes. I think if you got this fight down to the ground, he can submit him, and that's what he did. No one saw a first-round submission finish, right? I expected probably to be a little later in the rounds. I was all over Jon Jones for clients, minus 170. Not the best price, but I did like him enough to bet it. And I did also have a small personal play on the plus 550 on the submission. That's definitely some value there. If you think Jon Jones was going to get down to the ground, right, in this fight, which we all pretty much thought he was going to be able to wrestle and get gone down to the ground, a submission would be there. So getting a plus 550 price, definitely worth it, as we know that Gon cannot grapple and wrestle, and he proved it there. Grosso, got to give her flowers, right? That was the only side I was wrong on. Valentina, I took her by decision, plus 190. Not like I laid the price, and it was a very small unit. So that was the only loss on the card for me. Profitable card. But yeah, Grosso, I didn't think it was a great matchup, but she's really improved. I mentioned in the video that Grosso has improved her ground game and has improved her submission game. I didn't know to that much of a level, and she was able to catch Valentina. Valentina was winning the fight up until there. Some could have said 2-2. She won the last 2 rounds, and then she was winning that round, which was the 4th, and then she got caught in the submission. Very impressive by Grosso. I'm happy for her. Happy for the Mexican fans out there. Very impressive. A very impressive win from Grosso. Excited to see that rematch. That rematch is coming. Definitely there was some value there at plus 475 on Grosso if you did back her. Shout out to you guys. Other winners for me on the card, I was on Gamrot and Duplessis, 2-fight parlay at plus money. Turned at minus 250 on those guys. I think one was minus 220. Got that at plus money. I think plus 107, plus 117. I got to look at that again. And all over Romanov. We parlayed him with NHL bet at minus 120. So we got plus 117 on that. All over Romanov. Didn't know how it was going to finish. I did have a very small unit on the decision at plus 390 or plus 290. Very close, 20 seconds, right? Because we know Neil's tough. Neil did show his toughness. Somehow Rachmanov found a wild stand-up submission at the end. Very high on Rachmanov. Can't wait to see him fight, in the top 3 and maybe for the belt shortly. We can see him fighting maybe Colby or Usman next. Very interested to see how that goes. You guys want my personal plays for this card? Sign up today at my website, systemsportscapping.com, to become a client today. Start profiting long-term betting on sports, guys. Only around 5% of sports bettors profit long-term. So I profit on all sports, UFC, NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, PGA, handicap, multiple sports, not just a one-hit wonder in UFC, guys. System capping on all social media platforms. Give me a follow over there. Instagram, Twitter, now even TikTok. I've been doing some TikTok free video plays. Quick. I know a lot of people like quick format stuff now. So I do free video plays on TikTok over there. We're 4-0 on these video plays. Mainly PGA, but I also gave out Jon Jones last week as well. Give me a follow over there. System capping. Weekly update, all sports. PGA, back-to-back profitable cards on the greens. 2 weeks ago, it was because of the outright market. Kirk plus 2,400 we hit on, but last week it was a big prop market. You got to be able to win in both markets. If you just attack outright markets, it's going to be very tough to profit. At least week to week, of course, right? Long term, I profit in the outright market. You need to hit one a month is ideal, but you're going to go on a stretch where you don't win one a month, right? We have 3 outrights so far in 2023. So we're looking to win another one here. I guess in March would be ideal for us, or March, April. That 2,400 is going to help us here in the prop market. Over 71 units long-term in the PGA prop market. NHL, bit up and down the last few weeks. Lower volume, though. We expect to do the high win rate. Looking to get back on a nice run here. The 101 last week, 66% last 2 seasons, over 20 units in profit. NBA, low volume as well. 65% last 2 seasons. Long-term numbers are what matters, guys. No one cares about your 1 winning week or your parlay that you may hit. What about the 10 you lost? NFL, over 60 units last 2 years in the NFL. We know the NFL was better 2 seasons ago. Big year there. Profitable last year. Not the best regular season last year, but unbelievable playoffs that we had this past playoff. Like this video, guys. It helps me out a ton. Like the video, comment as well. Let's hear from my friend Meredith before we get into this card.
Guys, Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
Guys, shop around for the best prices. I can't stress that enough. Have multiple books. Some of the best advice I can give you. Main event, Jan minus 260 versus Dalashvili plus 210. I'm looking forward to this fight. Like I mentioned at the top, Russia versus Georgia. Dalashvili is making it more of like a political fight. You know, talking about Georgia versus Russia and that Jan's not a good guy and all this. Maybe he's just trying to get going for the fight, trying to get in his head, but I don't think it's really working. Jan's not really, clapping back here. 2 guys that have been kind of going back and forth since the Sterling days, right? They've been talking that they were going to fight outside of the ring, this and that. I don't know how much it's for real and just trying to sell the fight, guys. It's hard to guess with Dalashvili. Jan did say something right this week is, Dalashvili's trying to be fake from promoting the fight and when he's outside of the ring, and I can see that, right? Dalashvili has to try to do something to try to promote himself here. Jan, I would never think I would hear this besides Jan's resume. 3 out of 4 losses in his last 4 fights, guys. It's hard to see, but let's look at them. Let's look at these fights, because I have Jan as one of the best fighters in the world, right? It starts with the illegal knee, right? Dominated Sterling for 4 rounds, and then an illegal knee happens. Tough one there, right? The DQ, you could, I guess, not count that one, but technically it's an L on his resume. Then Sagan, he beat in a close fight. It was a close fight, but he lasted, and the 5 rounds does benefit him. Then he was able to beat Sandhagen later on in that fight. Then he got Sterling again, and he just got out-grappled in that one, right? The backpack was on. Very close fight against Sean O'Malley after that, which most people thought he won. I thought it was very close. It could have gone one away. No robbery in that fight. I did think Jan did enough with the 6 takedowns to win the fight, even though he didn't really do anything with them. O'Malley was able to get back up and show that he has been working on his grappling and wrestling. So that was impressive from the O'Malley side, right? And I just have a hard time seeing Jan lose 3 in a row and 4 of his last 5. So that's why I have to look the Jan way here. I don't love the price, though, at minus 260. Don't love the price, but I do favor him in a few ways in this matchup. One, obviously the 5 rounds favors him. We know he starts slow, and he's not a great 3-round fighter. I do think he could probably maybe lose the first round. Dalashvili maybe get the fight down to the ground, maybe catch him with a big shot. But I think as the fight goes on, Dalashvili hasn't been in a 5-round fight before. I think this favors Jan. And that's why I can see this fight going deep into this fight, or possibly even maybe the distance. Right? What I expect from Dalashvili is to bring this fight down to the ground. We know he's going to get this fight down to the ground at some point, but Jan has good wrestling and good takedown defense, guys. I don't think Dalashvili is going to be able to just ragdoll him to the ground and hold him down there. Okay, I do expect him to get that fight down to the ground. We know Jan's the better striker out of the two. No secret about that. This fight stays on the feet and Dashvili can't get it down to the ground. It's going to be a long night for him because Jan should be able to just pick him apart on the feet. Dashvili has improved his striking, yes. Merab has improved his striking overall striking game, and he's willing to strike at times, but against Jan, I don't think he will. I think he's going to want to get this fight down to the ground as soon as possible. Maybe against the cage, hold him there. Probably has a strength advantage in this fight. Jan's just a strong guy, so O'Malley did mention, though, that he wasn't as strong as he thought. Keep that in mind. So I do give Merab the strength advantage in here and the wrestling advantage. But Jan can wrestle as well. And that's why I don't think the matchup is great for Dashvili. Definitely value there at plus 210. There is value there. I don't love this minus 260 price, but I understand the urgency of Jan winning this fight. He needs to win this fight. He's better than this. Lost 3 of his last 4. He's better than losing this fight 3 in a row. So I'm going to be on Jan here in some capacity. Very tough to call an outcome, though. I'm usually good at finding outcomes. It is tough in this fight. Very tough. Right? I could see it being a later finish. I could see it going to decision. It is tough here. So if I play it, it's probably going to be in a 2-fight parlay. I usually do 2-fight parlays. I hit at 65-70% of the time. I'll probably find Jan in a 2-fight parlay this weekend. I haven't bet it as of yet, but that's the way I would have to look. It's tough to call an outcome, guys. It's tough to call an outcome. How is Merab going to look later in the fight? We haven't seen him later in fights like this. I know his cardio is good. But if you're trying to wrestle and grapple all fight, 4th, 5th round championship rounds, that's where you can get into trouble, right? So I'm excited to see how this fight plays out. I do lean Jan here. It may make my betting card in some standpoint, but yeah, excited to see how this one goes and see if Dashvili is that guy. Is he a championship level guy? We'll find out. Definitely value there at plus 210 if you want to take a shot there. Volkov plus 130 versus Romanov minus 155. Interesting one here. Volkov the vet. Been there, done that. Fought everyone in this division. A little older now, 35, but I still think he has something left in the tank. With Romanov, we know his issue, right? He tries to get the fight done early, get you down to the ground, right? He averages over 5 takedowns a fight, guys. And we know what his game plan is going to be. Get Volkov down to the ground. But if Volkov can survive the ground and pound TKO or the submission, how is Romanov going to look in the 2nd and 3rd round? We saw it against Tabor. That's why Tabor won the fight. Romanov got tired, right? If Romanov doesn't finish the fight in the 1 or 2, you're playing with fire, right? You're playing with fire. Live betting opportunity, maybe a look here, but there's value of Volkov just due to the resume, right? Romanov just hasn't beating world beaters, right? He beat Sherman, he beat Vandera, he beat De Lima, and beat Espinal. It's just very bottom of the barrel guys. And then now you're asking, this is a big test for Volkov. This is a big step up for Romanov to fight Volkov. It's very big step up from who he's been fighting, right? Tabora, he fought him, he lost, right? Tabora is a decent fighter. I have him in a top 10 type of fighter, better than anyone Romanov has beat, and it showed. He lost when he fought Tabora due to the gas tank. Right, so we know Romanov's game plan, get Volkov down, and he is going to get Volkov down in the 1st round, I expect. How is Volkov going to be able to adapt when he's on the ground and get up? He has a sneaky submission game, but I don't see that happening. I can see Romanov easily controlling Volkov on the ground and just winning due to the control and the takedowns, right? But Volkov, obviously, the better striker. He's going to have the reach advantage like he usually does, 5-inch here. He's going to have the height advantage like he usually does. No secret about that. It's just, what scares me here is, yes, Volkov could be taken down. We have seen in the past Volkov getting taken down. And I can just see Romanov controlling him in that aspect. So I guess I can see why he's favored. I think there's enough meat on the bone at plus 130 if you want to take a shot on Volkov. This fight's not going to get my money. I'm going to stay away from this one. But there is value there at plus 130 on Volkov, a vet who still has something left. He's only 35. Yes, towards the end of his career, but he's a heavyweight, guys. We see heavyweights go deep into their career. And like I said, big advantage on the feet for Volkov. Can he keep it there is the question. Romanov is going to get the fight down to the ground. What happens when it get there? We'll see. Krylov minus 170 versus Spann plus 150. It's funny, right? Because this was the main event 2 weeks ago. Krylov had to pull out due to health concerns. Now we're getting it same line 2 weeks later, but we're unsure on Krylov. How is he going to come into this fight? Is he 100%? Has he been training? Probably not. If he had the illness here, it's at catch weight, 215, guys. These guys didn't want to cut down again. Just a lot of uncertainty here, and that's why you have to look at Spann at plus 150. It's the only way I can look if I had to bet this fight. I kind of liked him in the first matchup because he does have the striking advantage, and he does have a submission game if the fight goes to the ground. I don't think Krylov can just... He's going to probably get Spann to the ground if Spann doesn't catch him early, but how can Krylov just control him there and like TKO him on the ground? I think Spann's going to be able to be ready for this. I do think he has a sneaky submission game. Tons of submission on his record. He could maybe catch Krylov. Krylov has been submitted a few times in the past here. So there's value here with Spann. Unknowns with Krylov due to this illness, and he had to pull out. Weight issue concerns possibly. If I had to bet this fight, guys, it would be Spann or nothing. I couldn't bet Krylov with these uncertainties at minus 170. I don't suggest you do either. Yeah, sure, Krylov could win this fight. He can look great doing it due to his wrestling and strength and his aggressiveness. But if I had to bet this fight, it would be Spann plus 150. If it do obviously smaller unit, because I do think Krylov is in a nice rhythm now. I do think he has changed his fighting style, which I like. But Spann has that one-shot power, and he does have that submission game. Enough value at plus 150 maybe to make my client card as a smaller unit this weekend. Ramos minus 360 versus Lingo plus 280. I don't understand this price, guys. Who would lay minus 360 on a guy like Ramos? Yes, he's going to have a wrestling advantage and grappling advantage here. Lingo's a tough guy, though. He's a tough guy, and plus 280, there is some decent value there. It's just obviously skill set. I got to go to Ramos all around. But, Lingo throws hard, tough guy. Most of his fights have been going to the distance. He has won two of his last 3 fights. I can see this fight also going to the distance. Probably my favorite bet for this fight to go to decision. But, yeah, Ramos could catch him in a submission. Like I mentioned, he does have the grappling advantage. He does get the fight down to the ground. Yeah, he's able to get his fights and his opponents down to the ground. So if he's able to do that here, I expect Ramos to possibly find a submission. So if you want to try to improve that price, maybe look, if you like Ramos, look at the submission prop on Ramos. But, yeah, minus 360 is just wild. I cannot get there. His resume doesn't prove to me why I can pay this price in a 2-fight parlay, so it will not make my betting card. Fight go the distance, maybe a look. Wouldn't call you crazy if you were on the Lingo side for a small unit. Normaga of 240, minus 240 versus Martinez plus 200. Another line that I think is a little long, a little wide at minus 240. My theory though, anytime I see a Nurmagomedov name, I usually bet and back them, right? That family tree, that training tree. I've been doing it time and time again with Islam. Never lost a fight. I always found a way to bet him if it was an outcome. Obviously, at the minus 400 or wild prices, it's hard to bet Islam, but I'm usually good at finding an outcome with him. Nurmagomedov a little different, right? He's not a wrestler, more of a striker. Does have a decent submission game, but he's a striker. He's a striker, guys. Seems very durable. He's not going to wrestle you, get you down to the ground like Islam and Khabib. He's different, right? Martinez, though, very good striker as well. We've seen him stop Cub Swanson with leg kicks. Very good kicker, Martinez. One of the better kickers in MMA. He'll hurt you with the kicks. He'll continue to throw them as well. He does have a chin, though, and he is able to get hit. That's why I think Normaga probably wins this fight. Probably will go all 3 rounds. So if you want to improve that minus 240 price, maybe Normaga by decision. He doesn't have a ton of power. I don't see him really knocking out Martinez. Submission is obviously a possibility here, but if I had to bet this fight, probably Normaga by decision. Yeah, Martinez is live at this price. It's not Nurmagomedov, Khabib Nurmagomedov. It's not that type of level, right? He has losses on his record. He has shown in fights where the fights are close and where he could lose. But I'll back him here by decision, minus 240. little tough to get to unless, again, you're going to add it to a 2-fight parlay, which is a possibility here. Martinez is live, though. Fights at a good training camp. I like him. I like his striking. It's going to be a good fight. This could be fight of the night style. I expect this to be a MMA style, kickboxing style fight. Looking forward to that one. A fight that I don't understand why is on the main card. We have it, though. Petrino versus Krylov, minus 110 all around here. Swedish fighter. It's a fairly even fight. Tough fight to call, guys, in my opinion. I had to do some research on these guys. I didn't know too much about them. I knew they were coming off the Dana White Contender Series. Petrino coming off a win with a second round TKO finish. Before that, fighting low-level guys, though, to get to 7-0. And we know the Swedish fighter, right? Welcome to the UFC. Here's Almeida. And Almeida got a submission in the first round. Almeida is very dangerous. So he does have that experience factor, the Swedish fighter, over Petrino. I would have to lean his way here. I do think he can out-wrestle Petrino. I do think, as you can see, over 8. He does have over 8 takedowns per fight, but that's just because he had the one, right, in that fight. It's not a fight you should bet, guys. If I did, like I mentioned, I'll lean the Swedish fighter, but I'm not going to be betting this fight. The line tells you that. They don't know, right? Minus 110 all around. And just a very low-level fight with guys that just don't have a lot of experience. So these type of fights, I stay away from investing my own money and my client's money as well. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that breakdown. We have another card. It's a fairly deep card. There's some decent fights on the prelims that I will have a bet out for my clients. I'll probably have a TikTok play out for you guys as well. Video quick play. I know a lot of people watch 20-minute videos, but that's where you're going to get the best information, right? Quick 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Not so much you can break down in a short video. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Enjoy the fights.